Philosophical Mysticism, a spiritual handbook for mankind, simplified into 100 short lessons. Lesson 5, unconscious memories. So unconscious memories, a memory I argued is any representation that resembles sense impressions and is physically stored in the brain. And of course, conscious memories fit this definition. But unconscious memories are also representations resembling sense impressions and physically stored in the brain. And thus, unconscious memories are also memories in the proper sense, under the definition that I'm using. We likely possess considerably more unconscious memories than conscious memories. This seems very likely, but this is still something that's being debated in the literature. The fact that we're unaware of conscious memories does not count against their existence or the fact that they could be found in some specific physical locus in the brain. So simply because we're unaware of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And you could even have unconscious memories that in your whole lifetime you'll never ever have access to again. But in many cases, it's still encoded in the brain somewhere in some physical locus. And as long as it's there, it's memory. Why care about unconscious memories? One big reason to care is that unconscious memories influence behavior. They, like conscious memories, have causal powers. It could even be argued that the unconscious, which unconscious memories are a part, influence our behavior more than conscious memories. So it should be something that we care about. So, this is something that seems to be a fact that the unconscious does influence our behavior in sort of significant ways. So we should care about this. We shouldn't just dismiss it. We might find some comfort in thinking that these unconscious hidden drivers can at least be reduced to our experiences and things we've actually done. So if you have an unconscious memory, I must have remembered that at some point. I must have done that at some point. It was sort of recorded. But philosophical mysticism, brace yourself, holds that we are also influenced by things we've never done and memories we've never formed. So mainly in the theory in philosophical mysticism, there are innate memories. And innate here is sort of something you're born with, or you have some type of mold or some type of structure that's going to lead to these memories that's sort of embedded in you from birth. People are very uncomfortable with the concept of innate memories. Even defenders of innate ideas raise the alarm when it comes to innate memories. So there are a good number of people that do believe in innate ideas. But when you say innate memories, they're like, what? That seems crazy. But philosophical mysticism holds that we do have these types of memories. And the hostility, I think, toward innate memories can be attributed to what I think is most people accepting the self-memory view of personal identity to at least some degree. Memories that are not in line with your historicity seem like foreign invaders. We don't want to have to really decide, which memories are real, which memories you actually did, and which are, alien or false. But That's a view, but it sort of is a little bit narrow because if you were born with certain memories and you've had these memories embedded in your mind your whole life, they're part of who you are they really alien? It doesn't really seem like they are. So it seems people are really alarmed here, but it's not as crazy as you think, or it's not as harmful as you think in terms of having these sort of innate memories, innate unconscious memories. Innate memories and instincts. So innate memories may seem like an outlandish claim, but only if we have an inflated view of what memories are. For example, many animals have highly sophisticated instincts, such as migration, nesting, courtship, even burying their dead in some cases. Um, where where instincts here are really just like a type of primitive, crude memory. I mean that, especially for really complex behaviors like building a nest. Um, they are kind of like crude memories. It doesn't seem completely unreasonable to think that if animals can encode for complex behaviors, really complex behaviors in some cases, why can't humans, with their enormous brains, encode for whole memories or even patterns and models of memories? So it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to go from building a nest and knowing or having it instinctual, innate to know how to build a nest, a really complicated nest. It doesn't seem like too much of a stretch to go from that to some type of nest archetype in the brain. It's not too much of a stretch, I think, at least. Especially if your brain is like, 20, 30, 40 times bigger than the animal in question, in the case of humans. Not just bigger, but more complex, more sophisticated. We got the folds and all kinds of different stuff. So it doesn't seem crazy to think that we could encode for patterns or models, at least some type of pattern. That seems something that we should be able to do. Humans seem to have less instincts than most animals. Some people say humans have no instincts. That's not true, but we do definitely have less instincts than most animals. Why is this the case? I think the explanation is that most of our instincts just got replaced with innate memories. They're a lot more useful to us as a species, at least the way humans work. Innate memories tend to do a better job than just having instincts. It gives us a little bit more complexity in our behavior than would be allowed for just a basic instinct. So, taking this all into account, it doesn't seem completely unreasonable to at least consider the idea that there are innate memories. Especially considering how little we know about the brain and the mind. We shouldn't just sort of dismiss the theory right away. And in the collective unconscious section, I'll definitely talk a lot more in detail about what these innate memories are, what they're like, what they're composed of. I'll definitely go into more detail there. But at least here, I'm just making a case that we shouldn't just dismiss innate memories just for right away. They might have some merit. And at least for philosophical mysticism, this is an important part of the theory. So definitely think that so. All right, I'll see you next lesson.